So it's going to be super fun to see how long this story goes and what I remembered I said and what I remembered to say. But this is a continuation of how do I let God bring me into this project? Imagine a conscious contact with God so strong that no matter what you are doing or not doing, that no matter what your kids are up to or not up to, and that whether you've got the person of your dreams or they're just not cooperating, that you are happy, content, and at peace. A space where everyone else's thoughts, attitudes, and actions are beautiful and exactly as they are supposed to be. Well, this is the space where I like to play. My name is Mischa Z, and this is today's Bitch Slap. Join me as I shed light on the thoughts, actions, and attitudes that are causing you pain, and we train our minds to go to the capital S inner self, the joy that is waiting for us, the God within. All right, here we go. Day 2 or episode 2 of How Do I Let God Bring Me Into This Project? And I believe I ended with the last episode with Sparky and how she was involved with Russell Brunson and ClickFunnels and learning how to make funnels and all this. And I'm fully captivated, and I've been introduced to .com secrets yet again. Remember that a year or two ago before that, I'd been introduced to through Ryan on the train, introduced to .com secrets and had the glimmer of like, oh yes, this is coming to me. I'm going to get to do this, but now is not the time. Be patient. So I get another little Russell Brunson shot from Sparky. And again, the universe is like, oh yeah, I know where I ended. This is like the cool thing about .com secrets and Russell Brunson and his program. It's like, here's the steps to have the success. Here's the framework for success in this arena. If you want to create a business in this arena, or if you like these ideas, follow these steps and you'll have success. And I've done that so many times in my life, whether it's small things, building IKEA, cabinets or whatever. And here's another time that happened for me when I was in college, in my young 20s. I actually took 4 years off from high school because I did so bad in high school. I believe I was telling that story as well in the previous episode. But so it took me about four years to get back to school because I'd done so bad in college that I had no confidence, or I'd done so bad in high school that I had no confidence that I could succeed in college. And so my path to college is this. I had a spiritual mentor, and I was snowboarding a lot. Between high school and college, I was on that first wave of snowboarding, so the late 80s, very early 90s, and growing up in Jackson and being into snow sports and being a rebel, snowboarding was a natural progression. So I'm snowboarding, having a ton of fun, and I'm wanting to get sponsored and do all this stuff. And my spiritual mentor is like, hey, he started simply for me. He's like, hey, you know what? Why don't you start making your bed in the morning, right? Keep it simple. Start making your bed in the morning and see what happens there. So I did. Right. And then with the snowboarding thing, it's like, great. Now that you have some sort of structure around your life and how to manage your bedroom, perhaps you can carry that to work, and I think at the time I was, delivering pizzas or something like that. And of course, my attitude was, how come I'm not the manager of the restaurant, versus you've got me doing dishes. And, John B., I'll never forget it. This one day, John B., who was a mentor of mine. There was two main influences back then, and I've completely digressed, but you'll get the point, hopefully. So it's about following instructions and taking the steps to have success. So John's like, hey, why don't you, because I'm complaining to John, they've got me doing dishes and I should be the manager. And he's like, hey, why don't you do this? Why don't you try doing the dishes for God? Literally, that's what he said to me. Why don't you stop worrying about being the manager, learn how to show up, and learn how to do the freaking dishes and do the dishes for God. So whenever it's messing with you, just do the dishes for God. And you know what? It worked. I became a great employee at that restaurant, delivered pizzas, and was able to have a super fun experience instead of being a pain in the behind to everybody there and having a bad attitude. So anyway, my buddy Steve's like, I'm like, I want to get sponsored, because at the time people were getting sponsored and things like that. And he's like, okay, here's the steps on how you can do that. You got to create a resume. You've got to do these things, and just stay in the moment. Do the next indicated step. Stay in the moment. Do the next indicated step. I'm like, okay, I can do that. I can quit projecting out. Quit worrying about, am I going to make $1 million or be in all the magazines or be famous or all this stuff, right? And do the next indicated step. And so I did that, and it sure is a long story. I had a total distracted thought. I apologize. I was totally paranoid of like, is this one of those moments where it's just complete ego gratification for Mischa, or is this of service to the world? And you know what? More will be revealed. I'm just going to roll with it. So I get sponsored. That's the bottom line, is I follow simple steps. I get sponsored. I get in a few magazines, make some videos. Effectively I was getting paid to sleep in my car, so I was definitely not getting rich. I got a snowboard for free. I got the equipment, the passes, all that stuff. But, I was traveling all over, having a ton of fun, but I slept in my car a lot, my truck. And so anyhow, next steps was like, all right, it's time to go to college. And I was really freaked out about college. I was like, I did so bad in high school. How am I going to survive in college? And again, it was like, all right, there are steps to have success in college. If you follow those simple steps, you can have success. So I started by applying. Step one, apply. And don't you know it, I get accepted. So Casper Community College in Casper, Wyoming, and I apply, I get accepted, and I go to talk to the counselor. And the counselor tells me two things. She says, Mischa, here's how you will do well in high school. I'm going to boil it down to two things for you, or college, excuse me. Here's how you're going to do well in college. Two things. One, study for 50 minutes an hour. So study for 50 minutes an hour. So of an hour, study for 50 minutes and then take 10 minutes off. And I'm like, awesome, I can do that. And then she also says, for every hour of class, study for 2 hours. For every hour of class, study for 2 hours. And I was like, I can do that too. That sounds super easy. So that's what I did. Any new class I took, and I ended up with a finance degree. I'll save the story of that loop and inspiration for another day, but I get a finance degree, and I'm constantly thinking, okay, study for 50 minutes, take 10 minutes off. And I still do that today with whatever I do. I work for 50 minutes, and then I try to take 10 minutes off to refresh the brain. Not perfect at it, but it's a good little habit. And then the other thing I did at school was just like she said, for every class, study for 2 hours. Bam, I graduate with A's. How does that happen? How does that even happen to a guy like me? Simple. Follow the little formula. I will tell you at this time too, I am praying a lot, although I don't believe it. I'm just doing it. At this time, I have the habit. I mean, I believe it, but I have no, it's just like it works, so whatever. I've got no vision of what I'm praying to. Not that I do today, really, but it's just not me. But I'm doing that, and I'm doing some journaling here and there, and definitely writing and all this stuff. But so God was in there. God was in there. You know what I believe? God's always in there. It's just whether I choose to see it or not. So anyway, I've got many other examples. Oh, yes. So this was the real big one I wanted to get to. While I'm in college, I blow up the engine to my little truck, and I'm on a super thin budget, and I need to get an engine in my truck. So I order a new engine, and keep in mind, I know nothing about engines. I could not tell you why this does that or anything like that. I've never really at that point been working on cars or doing anything, or like, this is why you've got spark plugs and exhaust systems and any of this stuff. Like, I'm not a wrench guy, barely can change my oil. And as a matter of fact, at that point, like, I'd rather just not change the oil. But I need to get around. I need transportation. So I'm in Montana State University getting my finance degree, and I've blown up my engine, and I order the new engine, and the college let you rent a bay and leave your car there in their shop, and they had all the tools, and it was like $10 a week or something ridiculous. It was practically free, and you gave all the tools, and they had a shop manager there that was like an automotive genius. So he says, "Hey, Mischa, I've got the book. All you need to do is follow the instructions, and you can change your engine, and you don't need to know a dang thing about cars." And I'm like, all right, I'll go for it. So I literally follow the instructions. One, undo this bolt, undo that bolt, undo this bolt, undo that bolt, undo this hose, undo that timing change. Thank goodness this guy was there. I wish I could remember his name, because when it came to a critical point of like, hey, that timing chain, you need to take a, and this was right at the end of the reinstallation of the engine. He's like, take this clothes hanger and hold up the timing chain with the hood, because what happens is people always drop the timing chain. It's right at the end of the process, and if you drop the timing chain back into the engine, you literally have to take the whole engine back out to get to the timing chain. So he saved my ass. So anyway, as soon as I'm done, I've got these two big bolts in my hand, and I go over to the shop foreman dude, and I'm like, "Yo, man, I've got these two big bolts in my hand. I think I'm done." And he goes, "Well, follow me." I'm like, "What am I supposed to do with these things?" He's all, "Follow me." So we walk out the back door of the shop, and he grabs one of the bolts out of my hands. He points to the hills in the distance, and he throws the bolt. And I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, get rid of that thing." So I huck my bolt. I'm like, "Really?" And he goes, "Yeah, we're not taking that thing back apart and starting over again." Bottom line is, knowing nothing about cars and just following the instructions, I change the engine out, turn the keys, and it runs. And I'm like, what? I can't even believe I did that. Thank you for listening to all this, by the way, if you happen to be listening to this. And I actually have no followership at this point, so that's just a funny thought. Anyway, so it comes to .com secrets and Russell Brunson. And the way he writes his stuff, he's like, follow these instructions and you will have success. So I get the book from Sparky, .com secrets. I get into the funnel. I actually buy the book online for free, of course, and now I'm embedded in Russell's insane funnel. So good, and I'm loving it, but tortured at the same time. I'm like, what? how did I end up here? And I order the book. So I start reading the book. Again, this is about 9 months ago, and it's basically says at the beginning, follow these instructions and you will have success. And so at that particular point, again, I was not ready because I still had some space to hold for my boys. And I know now that you follow the instructions, you'll have success. And so, and I got to let go of what my attachment to success is. But I know by following Russell Brunson's formula, I'm going to have some sort of success. And maybe it's going to be fun to see what that is. Anyhow, 9 months ago was not the time. And so about 3 months ago was the time. It was like, okay, the space is here. God was like, it's time for you to jump in, sign up for the One Funnel Away challenge. And how was that? I got an email about, what was it? I got an email. Yes, I got an email for the mastermind.com. Since I was on Russell Brunson's email list, I got involved into the Mastermind Summit, which was kind of like a mini summit. So that's Dean DeGrazio and Anthony Robbins and Russell Brunson's one of their projects. So I get that email, get involved in that, having a ton of fun with it. And one of the free things you got with it was the One Funnel Away challenge. And it was clear it's time for the One Funnel Away challenge. Again, this episode's running to the limit of how long I'm trying to keep my episodes, so looks like we get to go to a part 3. Thanks for listening today. Loved everybody. Thank you for spending time with me today. As someone who is committed to growth and service to this world, I so appreciate your willingness to come with me, go within, and serve our world through change. If you found value in this podcast and you know someone who can use this message, share this episode with them. Share it so our mission can be achieved one episode at a time. And of course, subscribe so you can hear more. And lastly, for my free Insider's Guide to Finding Peace, go to belove.media/peace. That's B as in boy, ELOVE.media/PEACE. It's my 8-step guide to finding peace now. It's a super powerful tool. I use it all the time. Check it out. I'm offering it to you for free. Thank you again for listening.